Breaking news, Bitcoin is about to have a legendary cross, something that only happens once per year, something that marks the biggest moves of every single year. Take a look. Stochastic RSI cross is about to cross right here. Last time we did it, 2024, when Bitcoin was at about 50,000 and it skyrocketed from 50 well over 100 with this Stochastic RSI cross. How about the time before that? 2023, September, where we were right here about $25,000, and with that cross we went from 25 up to $70,000. This cross happens once per year and typically only 2 or 3 times for the entire bull run. However, we have bad news. Take a look. What we've got on our hands are these repeating patterns. Every single cycle it does the same. It goes from the green box to one cross in red, second cross in red, and that leads us right to our market cycle top. And as soon as we have that final cross down, the top is already in. Then the whole thing repeats and we go to the green box and we have our first cross up of the bull, our second cross up of the bull that leads us to our market cycle top. And as soon as we finally have it cross back down, the top is already in and the whole thing repeats. And we go into the green and then we have our first cross up and then we have our second cross up, and you know the rest. So is Bitcoin in an absolute fake out part of the market, or is this Stochastic RSI cross up going to be the biggest thing to happen all year? Let's get into it. Hurry, seats are almost gone. 99% are about to make a huge mistake when exiting altcoins and Bitcoin. One missed exit this cycle and your gains vanish. Get my new masterclass and exit altcoins and Bitcoin like a pro with zero doubt. To my students, I have never released this exit plan strategy before, and this will be the only time I do. Imagine waking up to a crash and feeling calm because you already exited like a pro. This limited seats pre-sale is going fast. Hurry, go now. CryptoCrewUniversity.com and save an extra $300 with crypto payment. So here we are on the Bitcoin US dollar index, and today we're on the 2-week chart. On the 2-week chart, we have price action above and we have the Stochastic RSI below. Stochastic RSI is our momentum. It goes from a range of 0 up to 100. Anytime that we get over 80, you're going to want to think about taking profits. If you look at the history of Bitcoin, and anytime we were above 80 before, those are precisely the moments that you wanted to think about taking profits off the table. The exact opposite is true for when you're below the 20. When you're below the 20, this is when you want to think about buying. This is when you want to really start to time the market with your entries, start dollar cost averaging in. You want to do all of that when you're below the 20 in the momentum. In other words, every time that we were below the 20 was at the bottom of the market. Green box, bottom of the market, 2014. Green box, 2018, 2019, bottom of the market. Same for 22, bottom of the market. So in simple terms, with the Stochastic RSI in the 2-week, you simply want to enter the market when you're below, and you want to buy in for sure before that Stochastic RSI cross up. You want to ride that wave all the way up above 80, and then as soon as that bad boy heads back down, you're out, right? And you enter back down at the bottom again. It's a simple way to trade, but again, it's going to take discipline. It's going to take time, energy, and effort. You're going to make mistakes, but you need to have a plan with whatever you do. Now, this is where it gets very interesting. Let's take a closer look, because we can see right now we're trying to have a cross. And we know from the videos earlier this week that we are trying to have a cross on the 1 week. If the 1 week is having the biggest test of its year for Bitcoin, right? As we told you in the earlier episode, this is Bitcoin's biggest test, where this Stochastic RSI cross really is similar to the one we had back here, which turned out to be a failed rally. If this one fails again, where it's not a real Stochastic RSI cross, that will lead the 2-week to be even slower and to be a fake out. I'm about to give you the biggest clue with the 2-week, because as you're looking down here, you're like, okay, well, we had these red circles, which are really good crosses, and then we kind of got stuck in these green boxes for a while. Is that the big thing? Is that the big difference between it being really good or really, really bad? Catch the top before it's gone. Get your exit plan at cryptocrewuniversity.com. Well, when you look at these red crosses, you notice that they came back below this 20 level or just slightly above, and they were really fast, meaning momentum headed down really quick and then turned the corner, and we had that stochastic RSI cross and a momentum headed up really fast. Whereas the difference was back in these green boxes, we ran out of momentum and then we were stuck down there for a couple hundred days. Whereas these crosses were really quick. That's the key. So as you're watching this, you're really looking at the weekly, and can the weekly deliver Bitcoin's biggest move of the year? If it can, that weekly is going to push this 2 week to have a quick cross up, and that could be the best thing to ever happen in the bull run in this cycle for Bitcoin. But anything outside of that, we're in trouble. If you look at the patterns, we've got green box, red, top, green box, red, top, green box, red, you know the rest. This could have been our market cycle top right before our eyes when nobody expected it. Well, what you want to look at are the clues and the facts, because there's only one data point which happened otherwise, and that was this one. We did have a quick cross up here. However, it led us into bearish divergence. You can see that this pivot high here was not as high as the prior one, making it a lower high. Well, price technically made a higher high. That's bearish divergence. Failed rally. We are looking to see how this is going to come out. We understand what it's done before. We understand we've only had 2 really good cross ups per cycle, and we've already had 2. We had 1 in 23 and we had 1 in 24. And when you look at the last one we had was 2020 and 2019. So in other words, 2019, 4 years later, is 2023. Right here, 2020, 4 years later, 2024. So how about this one right here? 16, 4 years later is 20. You have this one, right? So these cycles are pretty much timed, where you get 2 good stochastic RSI crosses per cycle. We've already had 2. So we're in the stage of getting greedy. Are we about to have our third, or has the writing been on the wall? Catch the top before it's gone. Get your exit plan at cryptocrewuniversity.com. We understand earlier in the week we showed you this chart right here. This is Bitcoin's biggest test. It really comes down to this. Bitcoin is up against the wall. It needs to prove itself, and it's going to have a handful of weeks to prove itself. And the nail in the coffin is any move below 70K with bodies of the candle. So let me know in the comments down below how you think this biggest cross of the year is going to play out. Is it going to be a huge fake out and just more of the same of these patterns, or is this time going to be different? Let me know in the comments down below. One missed exit this cycle and your gains vanish. If you ever watched your portfolio go up and you didn't know when to exit altcoins or Bitcoin, this new exit plan masterclass is for you. To my students, I have never released this exit plan strategy before, and this will be the only time I do. You will walk away with exactly when to exit altcoins and Bitcoin with total clarity and 0 second guessing. This is a pre-sale, and early bird seats are now open, but very limited. Imagine waking up to a crash and feeling calm because you already exited like a pro. Go now, cryptocrewuniversity.com, and save an extra $300 off with crypto payment. Click the red button now to lock in your seats